Hi, this is Patty.
And this is Kim.
We love to travel.
This week we're off to Lake Garda in northern Italy.
We will show you some of the local scenes and wrap it up with our thoughts and favorites. Hope you enjoy. just had.
It was a blast. I loved it.
Oh my God. So let's go over the 3 towns that we just visited in the last 2 days.
Okay.
Starting with Malcesine.
Malcesine was beautiful. You've got to see the castle. The castle is amazing. And you get to walk around on the grounds. So that was cool. The town is very quaint. The people were friendly. It was really, really nice.
I would just say watch out for the cobblestone streets. They're all little rocks. They're different in every town, but this one's all rocks, so it's very hard to walk on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll definitely want to wear good walking shoes and not flip-flops or anything with a heel.
No. All right, let's move on to Limone.
Limone. I love Limone. I think that was probably of the 3 towns. I felt like their little village was more historic.
Yeah.
It was very
It was quainter. I would say
old and
quainter. A lot more shops.
a lot more shops.
Yeah.
Just very
Yeah.
narrow streets, but the buildings all the shops were built into the mountains or into the rock. So that was really unique and cool. It was really busy.
Yeah, I was surprised. We're here in April and it was crowded. Like, I can't believe what it's going to look like in the summertime.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really busy because it is one of the most popular towns, I think, here in the Lake Garda area.
All right, and let's end up with.
Gargnano.
All right.
Gargnano was a beautiful town, a lot less touristy. Shops were really nice. People very friendly. We had a really nice time. Lots of restaurants and
Yeah, a lot of locals. It was
Yes.
not. You could hardly tell any tourists there.
right.
Yeah. And then when we stayed, which 15-minute drive up the mountain from Gargnano, we stayed at the Lafay Resort, 5-star resort, gorgeous, gorgeous views, spectacular inside. They keep everything well up, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a spa.
Correct.
So if you're into a spa scene, you should stay there and not come down, because if you're into sightseeing like we were going up and down the mountain,
Yeah.
up and down the mountain.
Yes, and it's also, and you have to take a shuttle, but if you were to drive yourself, just know that those streets are narrow.
Oh, pin turns.
Yes.
Yes,
And
yeah.
you definitely got to be able to prepare yourself for that.
I agree. All right, girl. Here's
So
to the
our
2
next-
days and on to our next
Next
trips
trips
and
and
sips.